Inspector General Michael Horowitz and FBI Director Christopher Wray testifying today before a Senate Judiciary Committee on the findings of the 568-page report that was released last week. The bombshell report revealed several key FBI mistakes that were made in the handling of its Clinton email investigation. They included a ton of anti-Trump texts between agents, particularly those two in question. And a lot of this raises the bigger issue of political bias and its role at the Bureau. Here to discuss, Ford O'Connell, Civic Forum PAC Chairman, and back with us, Christopher Bedford and Beverly Hallberg. Ford, let me start with you. No doubt, reading some of those exchanges on how these people felt about President Trump, how they felt about Trump voters. I would hate to be someone who, some person who voted for Trump and ever come under FBI investigation. I would not believe that they would treat me fairly. I mean, I would think that their disdain and belittlement of me just makes me a target.
Well, I think you've got a great point here. Look, there's no question about it. What the Inspector General's report showed and today's committee hearing showed us that there was an anti-Trump, pro-Hillary Clinton bias in the FBI and in the DOJ. And many of the people that were heading up that Clinton investigation also headed up the Trump-Russia probe. So it's hard to see how that bias didn't carry over. But we also learned that James Comey's also under investigation for mishandling classified information and that he broke with protocol in the Clinton investigation. And therefore, it bolsters Trump's case for firing him. And it's going to be very, very hard to bring an obstruction of justice case against Trump for firing Comey because he has a very good reason.
Beverly, and not only in addition to that, but it's been implied that maybe there could be further IG investigation into Comey, perhaps on the criminal side here. Of course, it all remains to be seen, but just overall not a good look for the FBI.
Not at all, and I don't know if people would trust another IG report. Let's not forget you're talking about a government report trying to protect the government. So this is a report trying to protect the FBI. That's why they did give all the facts out there of bias, but still came to a conclusion that there was no bias. I thought Senator Lee had the best line of questioning, almost openly mocking anyone who said there was no bias in this. And also on the other side, Senator Dick Durbin, I think, trying to salvage the Mueller probe, trying to show, well, is there still bias in this? Can we separate these two investigations? So I think the name of the game is bias, and I also think the American people just don't trust the FBI anymore.
Christopher, where do you think we go from here?
I think Comey's the person who should really be careful right here. He was Senator Grassley, Chairman Grassley, opened fire on him right at the beginning, pointing out that this was the second invitation he declined. Of course, he seems to have declined the invitation. It sounds like the Inspector General is looking into his actions when he was there, looking into his handling of classified information, and it sounds like Acting Director Chris Wray is also potentially investigating it. Senator Cruz went at him pretty hard during this, saying, well, why can't you talk about Comey? Why can't you talk about it? And he had to step back and say, listen, I can't even tell you what we're talking about right now, but there's an investigation, and it pertains to the former director of the FBI.
And, of course, Christopher Wray gave that press conference last week. A lot of people were unhappy. We understand his position, and he wants to protect the men and women of the FBI, particularly when the esprit de corps is at this level. But he's under a lot of pressure to be more forthcoming, and I want to take a listen to just one of the comments he made today.
Although the report did not find any evidence of political bias or improper considerations ultimately impacting the investigation under review, the report did identify errors of judgment, violations of or disregard for policy, and decisions that, at least in the benefit of hindsight, were certainly not the best choices.
Ford, is that the most we can expect? Is that a tacit sort of admission, at least, that maybe there was a role of political bias that saw a transfer of people off the Hillary Clinton email case and the Anthony Weiner laptop situation and all put on the Russia investigation thing?
Well, look, here's the deal. Here's what FBI Director Christopher Wray is trying to do. As you pointed out, he's trying to protect the FBI, but the mandate of the IG report was not to find the smoking gun. And if you look very, very carefully at the decision to sort of slow walk the Anthony Weiner email investigation, I don't know what more proof you need, at least as a person outside the government, to understand that this bias was rampant, fervent, and it probably carried over to both investigations.
Beverly, we're so used to all of these things, the spectacles. We saw so many of them under the Obama administration. Will anything come out of this?
Well, I think public perception has definitely changed. I also think that there is just a mistrust of the FBI in general, regardless of what the Mueller probe finds. I think there are going to be plenty of people who distrust it. And I would say most of all, this has given President Trump a lot of ammunition when he said that he's been treated unfairly through this whole investigation. Regardless of what the truth is, I think most people are going to believe this. So I think it's extremely damaging to the FBI.
Yeah, it is. Thank you all very much.